Welcome to the Make More Money as a Dietitian podcast, where we talk about all things money, mindset, and marketing so your nutrition business can thrive and you can make a bigger impact in the marketplace. I am your host, Christine Diane, registered dietitian and money mindset expert. Let's get started with today's episode. Hey there, my friends. How are you this week? Welcome back to another episode of Make More Money as a Dietitian. Today's episode, did you look at it? Did you look at the length of this episode? I just want to come on briefly before we get started to just let you know not to be scared about the length of this. I know a lot of you are used to me having between 20 to 30 minute episodes, but today I wanted to share with you a training I did recently in my Facebook group all about how to overcome the fear of asking for money. You guys, this is a good one and such a necessary one for all of us. I, in this episode, go over the different types of fear, the 6 very important principles of fear. I define what fear is so that you actually know what fear is and where it actually comes from. And then I talk to everyone about the framework in which you can work through having these money conversations with potential clients. I have a 5-step framework that I suggest, and I go through that on the training or during the training. And I'm really just wanting to share this with you because I'm hoping it's going to be helpful for you to glean some insights into, number one, what is your fear related to when it comes to asking for money? And number two, like, how can you modify the framework that I share here and make it your own when you're having your money conversations with potential clients? Now, a money conversation is just simply a discovery call or a mini session or a clarity call, whatever you call it in your business. But I go into a little bit more detail in this training, and I wanted to share it with you. Also, in the show notes, I have linked up where you can actually get a copy of the entire framework in addition to everything else about overcoming money objections. It's in the show notes. I highly recommend that you grab your copy of that ebook. It's called The Dietitian's Guide to Overcoming Money Objections. You do not want to sleep on that ebook, okay? Like, you literally want to pick that ebook up, read through it, start practicing the things that are inside of it, because the people that have gotten their hands on this ebook have already told me how, by using the principles inside of the ebook, they have converted clients. Okay. And that's all we want. We want clients. We want clients not only to make money. That's not the purpose. That is just the outcome. But the real purpose for us getting clients is so that we can be of service and help to transform people's lives. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get into this episode on overcoming the fear of asking for money. And this is going to be, hopefully, I'm confident it'll be informative so that you can actually feel a little more confident about having these money conversations with potential clients. So it's one of the biggest things that most dietitians feel like they have to, hi Heather, most dietitians feel like they have to overcome. It's the asking for money piece. And for whatever the reason is for you, it might feel a little nerve-wracking, right? just to tell you, I'm not out of that ball game. I feel like I'm a lot more comfortable with it now than I used to be. But hi, Kimberly. I used to be like really nervous about asking for the money. It was like my whole throat would want to close up when it came to asking for the money. And I can't even tell you a concrete reason why at this point. Um, because I feel like there were multiple reasons why, and you may feel the same way. It may not be just one reason why you feel a little nervous about asking for money. It's more than likely more than one reason. And I will say this though, the overarching reason that most people are a little squeamish about asking for money is that it is stemmed from fear. And your fear could be for different reasons. And I want to talk to you today about fear. That's what I want to start with. Okay. And then we will end up talking about the framework around having these conversations and how they can go that would be most supportive to the potential client. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with talking about fear because this is where the asking for money comes from. It comes from fear. Now, there are different types of fear. Did you guys know that? That there's different types of fear? There is, I'm having problems here. Hold on, I'm trying to pull up my document. Well, why did the preferences come up? And I'm already on here, you guys. Tech is crazy. So anyhow, there's different types of fear. There's actually 12 types of fear. Okay. So I want to go through these different types of fear and you think about which one or which ones actually relate to you when it comes to having the conversation about money and how much your services are worth. Okay, now this can apply to you whether you take insurance or not, but it's usually for those of you who are just self-pay. Okay, so here are the 12 types of fear. The first one is the fear of failure. Okay, the fear of maybe not being able to even provide the service in the way that the client is expecting, right? So the fear of failure. And then the second one is the fear of not being good enough. That is a big one because I see it all the time. I hear a lot of dietitians, especially, talk about them feeling unworthy of asking for the money. So that, in my opinion, is related to the fear of not being good enough. Okay. The third one is the fear of not knowing how to do something or how it will work out. So I know back in the day, this one used to be one really relevant for me because I would always fear, what if they don't get what they came for? So the fear of how something will work out. Okay. And then there's the fear of success. What if I ask for the money and I do such a great job and I start getting all of these new clients, new referrals, everything becomes word of mouth and I become so successful that I can't handle it all. It sounds crazy, doesn't it? But maybe it doesn't because that used to be one for me too. I used to fear that I would become so successful that I wouldn't be able to handle all of it. Okay. Or how about the fear of being seen or being visible? Maybe you don't want to ask, maybe you don't even want to have conversations with people because you have this fear of being visible, like just being out there, You want to be kind of behind the scenes. Maybe you're not even working in the right business model. Maybe you're an introvert and you really just don't want to have these conversations with people. You want to help, but you don't want to have the conversations. You're kind of one of the behind the scenes type of people. Or how about the fear of not deserving what you want? I hear that a lot. The unworthy. I don't feel worthy to charge what I know my services are worth. The fear of losing connection with self or loved ones. This one may not relate to a money issue, but it could relate to your business overall. The fear of losing connection with yourself if you become too busy. The fear of losing connection with loved ones if your business becomes so busy. You kind of just self-sabotage. You don't even have these money conversations with people. Or how about the fear of surpassing someone, especially someone you feel really loyal to? It could be a friend. It could be another colleague. The fear of getting your feelings hurt. The fear of not being liked. That's a big one, especially amongst women. We always feel like we want people to like us. Number 11 is the fear of having others get angry at you. Oh, well, if you ask for the money, you might piss someone off. You might piss the client off. They might say something to you that is not so nice. That would definitely hold you back if you have that fear. Okay? And then number 12 is something that is not highly likely, but it is within the realm of the 12 fears, and this one is the fear of harming others. Do you have a fear that you may harm a client or a patient with the work that you do? Maybe you do something that's really intricate if you're in functional nutrition, prescribing supplements, and all of the things related to that. Okay? Maybe you don't feel like you're skilled enough yet and you might harm someone. I hope you don't feel that way because you're awesome, right? So these 12 fears are the root of why most people are afraid of asking for the money. Because if that is the case, that you don't like asking for the money, you're scared to ask for the money, you're resistant to asking for the money, is because you are fearing something. And if you work in nutrition, which I know you do because you wouldn't be here, you're likely the type of practitioner that likes to get to the root cause of the thing, right? And that's what we're doing today here with this. I could have just like shared my screen and did the whole, step by step, having a conversation to make the conversation easy and non-salesy. No, that is surface level. We're not here for surface level stuff. We're here to get to the root cause of your resistance, the mind drama that is going on that is holding you back from making the money that you should be making as a dietitian. Now, I want to just pause right here and tell you a story. I am in a group where there are different levels of entrepreneurs, but mostly 6 and 7 figures. Okay? And so today there was a member of the group who shared that she has been in business full time for the past 4 months. She's just been in business for 4 months. And she made her first $8,000. Been in business for only 4 months. And guess what, you guys? Guess what makes this story relevant to us? She's a nurse who teaches people, specifically women, professional women, how to lose weight. Let us all just let this soak in. She is a nurse who has decided that she has the skills and the resources and the know-how to teach professional women how to lose weight without giving up carbs. I think that's what she says, and all the things. Now, clearly, she believes in herself. She's also in school to get her doctorate. Now, I don't know what her doctorate is in, but this woman clearly has no mind drama around making the money or asking for the money. She's doing fine asking for the money. And she doesn't even have a nutrition background. So I'm trying to still understand the biggest struggle that my colleagues are having when it comes to making money and asking for it, especially. It's based around the fear. And these 12 fears that I listed for you, these are the 12 fears that you're really going to have to work through in order to be more confident in asking for money. Now, when it comes to fear, also, I want you to know that why is my screen not doing right? There are 6 principles about fear that I really want you guys to understand. This is super important, okay? Now, keep in mind, before I even get to the 6 principles, I want you to know what fear actually is and how it's created. Now, fear is a stored memory, or it could be a series of memories that's associated with the threat to your survival. Like, if you ask for the money, holy, it's going to bring up a memory of something that you asked for before in the past, a stored memory where you asked for something and you got shot down. Okay? So fear is really just a stored memory. And it's created by experiences that literally activate your nervous system. So clearly, asking for money for a lot of us dietitians, it activates our nervous system because there's a stored memory associated with asking for something that we know that we want, but we were told we can't have it. We don't deserve it. Money is a big one. Okay? So let's talk about the 6 principles about fear, because you guys got to really understand this stuff, because if you know that if you don't get to the root cause of a problem, it just keeps resurfacing. It doesn't go away. And what is even more frustrating is that, especially for me, is that when I see other business coaches out there just teaching the surface level stuff, and people are seemingly getting these air quotes great results, I feel bad. I really do. Because with the mindset stuff not in place, when something comes up and it triggers the person, activates the fear, activates the nervous system, all hell breaks loose. That person could be making really good money, and then something activates their fear, and they're down the slippery slope if they don't have support. So you can have all the practical tools and all the blueprints and all the video modules and all of those things, but if you don't have the support where someone can almost literally hold your hand when you are about ready to spiral out, You're up a creek. No video module or blueprint is going to save you from yourself. Okay? So the 6 principles about fear. Number 1, the shame that we have around fear is actually more potent than the fear itself. So your shame, the shame that you feel around asking for money, that is the thing that is more potent than the actual fear itself. And I'll tell you why in a bit. Number 2, fear often doesn't present as fear. It actually presents itself as a reasonable reason. Well, I really shouldn't ask for money because people shouldn't have to pay to stay healthy. That sounds like a reasonable reason. In my mind, it's ridiculous. Because just like I said on the video the other day, I don't even feel like I should have to pay to put air in my tire, but I still got to give that stupid machine 50 cents. Air. So if I have to pay for air, why shouldn't someone have to pay you or me to keep their health in check? People shouldn't have to pay to stay healthy. People shouldn't have to pay for health, nutrition information. Health is what do we call it? A thing that we deserve in life. Yeah, true that. But when we get sick, we go to the doctor, we still got to pay. So it does often present itself as a reasonable reason. But when you really dig deeper, it is not reasonable. It's ridiculous. Number 3, adult fear is often rooted and activated or related to inner child fear. Adult fear is often rooted, activated by, or related to inner child fear. So, like I mentioned a moment ago, what you're fearing as an adult is usually related to some inner child stuff. Worthiness when you were a child. Lack of self-worth as a child. Number 4, there's always something to risk when you're overcoming fear. Right? So asking for the money, you're risking something, right? But you never know what the outcome is going to be unless you do ask. And number 5, remember that your ego loves comfort. And so therefore, it actually mistakenly believes that your life should always be safe. So that part of your brain that wants to make everything on the up and up thinks it's supposed to be on the up and up all the time. And I'm here to tell you guys, we don't live in Alice in Wonderland. We live on planet Earth. And we're humans. And things will sometimes be good. And things will sometimes be not good. I think we kind of know that, at least this year, especially. But that part of your brain that wants to keep you safe from all the crazy things wants to tell you that, oh no, you can't ask for the money because that's going to take you out of your comfort zone. It's going to activate your nervous system. It's going to do all the things. Let's just stay cool, copacetic like we've been. Then you don't have to even experience all that. Because that part of your brain wants to always just be cool, calm, and collected. But I'm here to tell you that there's nothing going to happen to that part of your brain when you take it out of the comfort zone, because the more you do that, it becomes a new neuro pathway and it becomes the new normal. And the final principle of fear is this. You won't believe this until you actually do the work around this. But the only way to actually work with fear is to befriend it, to become friends with your fear. And it's the total opposite of what we're taught. We're taught that we're supposed to slay our fears and we're supposed to kick our fears to the curb and overcome the fear. And oh, no. I want to give you something to think about. What if you befriended your fear? What if you were to believe that fear was there to actually help you? Learn something about yourself. Then it doesn't become such a big thing and a big magnified issue when it shows up. If you befriend your fear around asking for money, what if you were to say, wow, what is that really trying to teach me about myself? Because I really need to learn, why am I afraid of asking for money? Because I deserve money. Like, I went to school so that I could get this education and be able to provide a really, really good service. So why am I afraid to ask for money? This is ridiculous. Let me learn something about myself. So if you can befriend your fear, you're ahead of the rest. Because the rest think that you're supposed to slay the fear and kick it to the curb and all of these things. And then they get all freaked out when the fear pops up again and again and again. And I want to tell you that the fear will come up again and again and again. Even the fear of asking for money each time. But it'll be more subtle each time. A lot of times we have the misbelief that when we work through a fear or we overcome the fear of asking for money, that the next time it's not going to be that big of a deal, or it's not going to ever show up again. Well, no, it's not that it's not going to ever show up again. It will show up. It'll be less subtle. You'll recognize it for what it is. You'll do and say what you have to do and say. Your nervous system won't be so activated around it. So here's some steps I want to introduce you to, just subtly introduce you to, on the process of actually befriending your fear. So the first thing you would want to do is really just become aware of it. We all know that being aware of a thing is the first step to recovery. So you want to become aware of the fear, okay? And then you actually want to understand it. You want to get a little deeper and ask yourself, like, who would I be if I really asked for the money? What kind of person asks for this amount of money? Understanding your fear around that. And then you actually, the third part of this befriending your fear process is actually dialoguing with your fear. And I take my clients through a visualization process, step by step. Yes, it is woo for some people, but for me and the way that I work, that's the way we work. So I take my clients through the visualization. They actually visualize the fear in their body, where it's located. They describe the fear, what it looks like, what it feels like. Does it have a smell? Is it hot or is it cold? Does it have a shape to it? All of these things. And then we go deeper into it. So you guys, this is the thing. What are you really afraid of when it comes to asking for the money? What are the top fears for you? Or if there's just one, is there one particular fear? Is it the fear that the person might get mad at you? Or is it the fear that if you ask for this money, you may not be able to deliver the value? I would love to hear, what your particular fear is, because this is how you actually heal it. When you put it out there, don't keep it in. You're here in this masterclass, and I would love for you to walk away with a breakthrough. So feel free to share in the comments, what is your fear when it comes to asking for the money? Heather says one of her fears is seeming as if she's greedy. And then what type of persona would you take on if you were the greedy person? What does a greedy person look like? Or how does the greedy person act? Just think about that for yourself. So Kathleen says for her, it's the fear of, oh yeah, not being able to deliver the value. Kathleen, that used to be a huge one for me. The more that you work with clients, the more you will see that that's not true. You will have clients that get a tremendous value, and you will have some that won't. And a lot of times, it's not you. If you have social proof that other people are getting tremendous value and you're providing the same service to everyone in the same way, and there's some people who are not getting it, that is something to question. Like, what's going on with that person? And you can actually, if they allow you to, you can actually help them. You can help them get the value that they came for. Kimberly says that she's afraid that her future clients will not feel her program is worth it. Worth it. Not worth the money. That's pretty much the same as what Kathleen said, I believe. Right? So not really being able to provide the value associated with the dollar amount. Kathleen, you say that that's crap. Well, of course, I think we all know. I think we all know our services are very much worthy of whatever price tag we put on it. But that fear still comes up. Remember, that fear is really based on past experiences, and they show up as reasonable reasons. But they're usually ridiculous, as I say. So Nina says that not being able to deliver results and the client feeling like they wasted their money. Ooh. So look here, you guys. How could this be true? I just want to know. I want to showcase your fear. How can it be true that what Nina says, that you're not able to deliver on the results? when we have such a skilled level of expertise, when there are others out there that can't even match up with the level of expertise and training and education? How is it possible? I also want to say that that particular fear has multiple layers under it. So that's the surface level fear, the fear of not being able to deliver on the results. And the person will feel like they wasted their money. That's the surface fear. There's levels underneath that. So that appears to be the reasonable thing, the reasonable reason why you don't want to ask for the money. However, there's deeply rooted reasons that makes that seem as if it is true. So it's important for us to do this inner work. And that's why I'm so committed to this inner work, you guys. And I do it because I know it's important. If we all want to make more money as dietitians and we want to be the leaders in our industry, we need to do our inner work. To me, that is the biggest problem we have. Our problem is not about asking for money. Our problem is not about not knowing how to market ourselves. Our problem is that we don't value the inner work. I believe that because we are so trained on the sciences and everything needing to be evidence-based, we don't really take note of some things that need to be worked on within ourselves that can't necessarily be proven by evidence-based science. Neuroscience is definitely a thing, but it's not something that we think is necessary for us. We need to change our programming in our minds to believe in ourselves more before we can make any kind of money and be in competition with anyone else. I mean, you don't even have to compete, I feel. But it's necessary. If you don't do this inner work, you're going to be struggling for the rest of your career. And then you're going to be like some people that I hear in these Facebook groups talking about they want to quit the profession. You want to quit the profession because you don't want to ask for money, because you think that somebody's supposed to give you the money. Like the academy is supposed to advocate and do all the things. What if they never did another thing? What if? What if they never did another thing? And you have spent all the money on your education and got all the credentials, all the little fancy letters and all that. Would you sit back and just like blame it on the academy? Or would you be strong enough to admit that you didn't do your work on making this work for you? So when it comes to asking for the money, you guys, work on your fears. That is the magic. If you thought I was coming with a magic solution, that's it. Work on your fears around asking for money. It's not easy. It's not sexy. It's not as sexy as a blueprint or a video module or all of these things that are out there in the marketplace. It's not. Usually the stuff that really is going to help you the most is the least sexiest work. It's the stuff that makes you feel like you want to go ball up in a knot in a fetal position because you have to recognize your flaws. But when you come out of that fetal position, you will be a changed person. And that's what's necessary for you to be able to have a practice that where you can actually take others through their own transformation. You can't take someone through a transformation if you're all messed up yourself. Not happening. It's just not going to happen. And this is another reason why, you guys, there's so many people out there charging all these exorbitant fees. And I don't have a problem with you charging an exorbitant fee. I will throw money at you if I know that I'm going to get, what you promised me. But that's why there's so many people out there who are charging these fees, and they suck. Because there's other coaches out there that are teaching methods and ideologies and all these things to people who aren't ready yet. They're not ready to charge that much. That's why my program is called Charge What You're Worth. And people like to poo-poo on that, oh, you can never charge what you're worth. That is not what this is about. This is about you really feeling worthy to charge what your services are worth as a dietitian. So Nina says, let's see. Nina says she has this inner dialogue with herself all the time that that a client will get value from your service in some shape or form. It's something I need to work on. I'm still so new to the business and sales side of things. Look, we're all going to be new. Let me just give you guys an alert. You're always going to be new. You know why? Because it's always going to be something new to learn. At every level of your business, you're going to be learning something new. So let's just stop talking about how new we are, okay? Stop it. Just be done with that. Don't even say that to yourself anymore. And please don't say that to anyone else. You're always going to be new. I'm new at my level. Like I mentioned, I'm in a group with 6 and 7 figure business owners. And I'm feeling all holy, It's all new to me, but it's freaking awesome. I wouldn't have it any other way. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. You're always going to be new. You're always going to be learning something new. And what's going to happen is where you are at your level in business and in your career, you're going to attract the right people to you. You will attract the people that are meant for you to serve. As long as you're not advertising something that you know you can't fulfill. If you know you can't do the thing and you just out here trying to experiment around, don't do that with the people. Stay in your gifting, stay in your talents and skills. But you will attract the right clients and you will help them. Remember, look, you guys, the people really don't know all the things that we know. You would be so surprised how basic the public is. I literally had a client one day, back in the day when I was doing health coaching over the phone for a corporation. She was like, "You mean to tell me that lettuce is a vegetable? Oh, I didn't know that." I was like, luckily I was not on a video or anything. I was on the phone, but I was like, oh, wow. And I had to sit there for a moment. I was like, you take a pause to wait and see if a person is going to laugh or something. I was like, yeah, she's joking. And she wasn't. The general public is really basic. So whatever you come to them with, it is amazing. They are not trained in what we are trained. Okay? So I want to spend this last 15 minutes to just describe a simple framework around how you can have these money conversations. Okay. And when I first started out, I used somewhat of a framework. I learned early on that scripts were just horrible, because it made me feel like I was reading something, and whatever I was reading did not line up with how I speak and my personality. Uh, so I don't always recommend scripts. However, a script can be a good foundation for you to create your own way of having the conversation with the potential client. Okay. So let's see. Before I get to the framework, Kathleen says that her sales calls are coming up again, and she's working on getting that mindset that I can do it, and my program creates the life changing transformation. That's priceless. Yeah, I mean, seriously. Can we, okay, you guys, all of you who are here, can we stop saying that we're working on stuff? The things that, and clients who know me best know that I cannot stand when you say you're thinking. Well, I think, or I'm trying, or I'm working on. How about you just do it? Just do it. Just be that person now. Like, you can legit show up, Kathleen, as the person who has that mindset already. I'm here. I'm here. Because if you keep talking as if you haven't arrived yet, guess what? You'll never arrive. If you're always trying, if you're always thinking, then it's going to always be that. Okay? All right. Okay, Kimberly, why did you say wow? Did I say something crazy? You know, I'm a little crazy, but I can get a little bit on my on tangent is what I'm trying to say. So, look, here's the framework for having these conversations. The first thing that you will want to do when you have a money conversation with someone, and money conversation is defined as like a discovery call or a mini session or a clarity call, whatever the conversation, whatever it is for you. Okay. But when you get to the conversation, the first thing that I recommend is to set the intention. Y'all know I'm a little bit of woo and all the things, right? So I like intentions because it sets the foundation of what the conversation is going to be like for the client. So the client feels at ease before you even start talking to him or her. You want to set the intention. So for me, it's like breaking the ice and building trust and building rapport. So you do that right away. You set the intention. So you want to say something like, I'm really excited to connect with you today, whatever this person's name is. I'm reading what I have here. And I want us to begin by sharing our intentions for this time together. And I'm going to go first. So my intention is to connect with you today and to hold space for you to look really close at what it is that you want for yourself and your health and well-being. And then from there, we'll look with honesty and little vulnerability at what's been standing in the way of you achieving what you want. When we look at all of this, we'll be able to see where you are right now and where you want to be in the future. And then once we're clear on where you are right now and where you want to be in the future, then we can talk about what it will take to get you from point A, where you are now, and point B, where you want to be. And I'll let you know how I can help. And then you'll say, so what is your intention for today? What would you like to get out of our conversation today? And then you'll listen to that person. You'll allow them to speak. What do they want? And what's really great about that part, the person already feels like they are being seen and heard. And you will reflect back to them what you have heard so that they even further feel seen and heard. Okay, so setting the intention is super important. Some people like to just get on the call and say, hey, great to meet you, Sally. Let's get with it. Not probably the best. Unless you're dealing with men. Men like to get in, they're matter of fact and they just want to get straight to it. They don't have time for all that extra stuff. Okay? That's been my experience with coaching men. They're just like, girl, come on, just tell me what it is and tell me how much it costs. And that's all, because I already know what I want. So setting the intention is the first step. And then the second step in your discovery call, your money conversation, is to actually activate their stressors. Okay, now this is the part of the conversation where you want to really bring up their struggles and their frustration. Now, off the top, this might seem like it's manipulative, and it isn't. And let me tell you why. Some people need to be reminded about why they are there in the first place. Sometimes it's a good reminder for someone to be like, oh, yes, it's that damn thing. That is why I'm here talking to you today. So you want to activate that, remind them of what their actual struggle is. And you're going to ask them certain questions in order to do that. Okay. And then the third step is to really activate the vision. This is, to me, is the fun part. I love visioning. Oh my God. Because I know how to hold space for a vision for someone So when I get to hear a person's vision, I'm like, yes, let's do this. Yeah. I'm your biggest cheerleader. Of course, if I don't think I can do that for you, then I'm going to be honest. But this is, you guys, the most fun part. When you get a chance to hear your client or your patient's goals, what they want for themselves in their life, that should light you up. Because if they're there to see you, that means that they saw something in you that let them know that you can help them. They already got a sense that you are the one. So to listen to their vision should light you up. Okay? So there's certain questions that you will ask to activate their vision. Oh my God, I love visions. And then, the fourth part is actually bridging the gap between the struggle bus and the vision. So there are certain questions that you will ask about, or you will listen for both things on both sides, and then you'll bridge the gap. You're not going to ask questions for bridging the gap, excuse me. Bridging the gap means that you actually let them know how you can help. Okay? And so when it comes to letting them know how you can help, this is where the skill comes in for you as a practitioner. This is where most people, most practitioners, most dietitians struggle. This is where you want to explain all of the things, and you don't need to. Do you see how I said that real softly? I'm trying to really get you to hone in. You don't need to explain all the things, y'all. All you need to do is explain how you can help them achieve the things that they said they are struggling with, which means you will have had to put on your listening cap, as they talked about in kindergarten. Put it on your listening cap instead of sitting there thinking that you know everything because you're the nutrition expert. You are actually supposed to be listening when you are activating their stressors and maybe even taking some notes, because that is how you can say, yes, I can help you with this, this, and this. You really don't even need to go through all the features of your program. As a matter of fact, you should not do that because they don't care. They just want to know how you're going to help them overcome the things that they told you that they were struggling with. So you're going to bridge the gap by saying, I can help you with this, and this is how we're going to do it. I can help you with that, and this is how we're going to do that. And then ultimately, you're going to achieve this because we are going to do this together. And that's how you bridge the gap. Now, bridging the gap also includes this last part, making a call to action, telling them your price, how much it is. You guys, this is the part where I had to do a whole podcast episode on the power of the pause. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link to that podcast episode below this training so that you can go back and listen to it, because it's important. It's very powerful. And I tell you, I got multiple messages, emails, all the things, DMs about this episode and how helpful it has been. So the power of the pause means this, essentially. You quote your price for your program, and then you don't say anything. And so, Sally, I can help you do all these things. And to get started, all you have to do is put a deposit of $495, and then we'll set up recurring payments of $785 a month. And then we pause. And then if the pause becomes super long, you'll want to say, what questions can I answer for you about that? That's it. That's it, you guys. But what happens is most people say, you have to put the deposit down of $495, and then there's X number of recurring payments for whatever dollar amount that is, and you're going to get this, and you're going to get that, and blah, 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 and they just keep going and going and going and blowing the person's brain up. Oh my goodness. And what happens is you end up overwhelming the client on the line. You overwhelm them. They can't even process what you said because you're just talking and talking and talking and talking, and you're overwhelming them. And then that's when they're just like, I can't even do this right now. And then it ends up being a no, and you feel bad. Or it ends up being, well, I need to think about it. Well, I guess they do need to think about it because you have explained it all the way. They need to take a break when you could have just paused and allowed them to have the break. And then they will have likely either said yes or gave you a reason why they're saying no. Remember, no doesn't always mean forever. No means maybe not right now. Maybe I need some time to think about it still. But the power of the pause. So those are your 5 steps to asking for money without it feeling like you're a used car salesperson. Because you're not. You are a registered dietitian nutritionist. A lot of y'all have master's degrees. Why can't you ask for money? So, set your intentions, activate the stressors, activate the vision, bridge the gap, and have a call to action. And remember to pause when you are quoting your price. It's not that hard, but it is scary in the beginning. I'm not going to pretend like it's like super easy, right? So I want to hear what questions you have, you guys. We have 3 more minutes. I want to be really, I want to honor your time. Oh, the lettuce comment, Kimberly. Yeah, that was crazy. She was serious too. Yeah, pauses a lot of people's favorites. I'm just like, wow. I pat myself on the back for that one. That was a good one. You guys can do this. I have this whole outline of the intention setting and even more in my Overcoming Money Objections book. Okay, and I'll put the link to that, excuse me, to that book, to the ebook below this video. There is a slight charge for it. It's $27. What is $27 worth? You getting a really good paying client. If you can invest $27 in learning this process, you might just get a new client or two. I actually had someone DM me on Instagram about the power of the pause. And she said she signed on 3 new clients just doing that. So just imagine if you were to implement what you learn on the podcast and the framework that's within this ebook. If you put those two together, you're cooking with grease, as they used to say back in my day. Seriously, you guys, you can literally do this. Just remember what I taught you about fear. Okay? So to wrap it up about fear, let me tell you the one thing that I want you to remember. Fear actually doesn't always just present itself as fear. It really oftentimes masks itself as a reasonable reason. In other words, it's an excuse. It's the thing that you really think is reasonable. It's not. When you are not doing something that you know will move you forward and you say it's because of a thing, that's a reasonable reason. And it's an excuse and it's attached to fear. So please do recognize fear for what it is. Please do know that you can overcome fears. And the best way to overcome or to work through your fears is to actually become friends with it and don't feel like it is this bad thing, because it is not. It is not. You cannot have the opposite of fear if there was no fear itself. Fear is not bad. It's just an emotion like all the rest of them that we are gifted to be able to experience as humans. Okay? All right. So, wrapping this up, my friends, do you have any last minute questions? I want to be able to answer a few questions, but I'm also going to put the links that I promised below this video. Please grab the ebook, y'all. It is a valuable resource. You will get value from that. Okay? Yes, there are 12 types of fear. Yep. You say, Kimberly, that you love the way that I approach the sales conversation. Yes. 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 Right. Look, pick and choose whichever parts of that conversation jazz you up, but vision for me jazzes me up because I'm a futuristic person. Like, that's part of the makeup of who I am. And I'm a visionary, so I love like just seeing what's possible. And I love helping people create their own futures for themselves. That's why I'm so passionate about this work. So when I'm on a call with someone and they're telling me their vision, I'm like, oh, that's amazing. Yes. Because every person's vision for themselves and their business and their overall life is very unique. I have not heard one that has been the same yet. And I've been doing this a long time. And so I love it. It just lets me know that, as God's creation, we are so unique and different, and our visions for our lives are that as well. And I just want to help you get it, and you can do it. So whatever part of that framework jazzes you up, if it's hearing the stressors and the struggles, and that jazzes you up because you can help them work through that, let them hear that in your voice. That builds even deeper trust and rapport. Let them hear that. If they hear, then they're like, oh no, she don't know what she's doing. I'm out. So don't do that. Okay? All right, my friends. Look, I love all of y'all. I do. I don't even know you like that, but I do. I love you guys because you guys are awesome. And I know that your potential is infinite. I'm holding space for you for that. And so let's get the ebook. Let's listen to the Power of the Pause episode. And if you want to take it even further and hop on a mini session call because you know that you want to make this last 3 months of the year, you want to end strong, let's do it. Let's talk about how I can help you, okay? How I can bridge the gap for you. I want to hear your vision. So if you feel you're ready for that, let's get on the call, and I'll put the link in the comments below for all 3 of those things. All right, my friends. I will share with you what our next masterclass is going to be for October. But in the meantime, let's work on these money objections, overcoming our fears, and start asking for the money that our services are worth. I'll see you next time. Bye. Hey, if you want to learn more about how you can make more money as a dietitian, I want to invite you to check out my program, Charge What You're Worth. Now, to learn more about this program and how it can help you to become a top earner as a dietitian in business, just head on over to moneymindsetdietitian.com/work with me. Again, that's moneymindsetdietitian.com/work with me, where you can learn more about the Charge What You're Worth program and how it can help you.